Okay, so there's a ton of games on the App Store, and they all have one thing in common. They all have reviews, except like maybe 1% of them don't. So I'm gonna change that by rating some of the games in the App Store with no reviews. And once I do review the game, my rating actually becomes the rating of the entire game because it's the only one. So the first game on the list is Bigfoot Hunting Horror Games. Bigfoot Hunting Horror Games is a horror game in which you have to hunt down Bigfoot. Okay, well yeah, pretty self-explanatory. You have to be careful about Bigfoot attack. Let's play this amazing game. They're just telling you, alright, let's play this amazing game. I do appreciate the simplicity of this game because right when you load it up, there's only one button in the main menu. So you really only have one choice, and that's to play the actual game. So that's what I did. There are 15 levels in this game with 5 coming soon. But first, level 1. The map seems to be a village in the middle of nowhere with probably the worst render distance I've ever seen in a game, because as you're running, there's trees that spawn in like 10 feet in front of you that you just have to be constantly dodging. So I just kept running because I assumed I was supposed to be running away from Bigfoot, but then I realized that I'm a class act moron and remember that the game is called Bigfoot Hunter, which is probably why I have a gun. So the hunt began. It took a while until I actually found him because I was looking all over the place for this dude until I finally realized that I have a mini-map. Oh, there's a mini-map. Yeah, that made it a lot easier. I found him pretty quickly after that, and I thought for whatever reason, he would be scared of me since, you know, I had a gun and I was hunting him, but he definitely was not. I just shot him as much as I could and then took off, and then I turned around and found out that apparently I had killed him. So that was easier than expected. On to level 2. Level 2 is basically the same thing, but except this time, instead of one Bigfoot, there was 2. I found the first one, mowed him down, then did the same to the second, and even made him do a front flip. Then on level 3, there was 3 Bigfoot. Wait, is it Bigfoots? Big feet? I killed all 3 big feet and ended up doing 7 levels, and only got up to 4 of them. But literally nothing else in the game changed. It was just the same thing every single time, so I got bored pretty quickly and just quit. This game was not very good. I really hope there's some better ones on this list. So the game on the App Store is called For Survival Among Gods, but on the title screen it says Vikings Conquest, which is a little confusing. I started the game and immediately noticed that this is a huge upgrade from the last one. A bird spawned in and told me to kill the deer to get the clawn. So I did what it asked, pulled out my Viking axe and started slaughtering this thing. Well, tried to at least. He was pretty fast. I picked up the clawn and placed it in front of the statue, which spawned in something straight from my nightmares. This thing was terrifying, and every time I tried to get close to attack him, he would damage me too, and he had a lot more health than me, so I didn't know how I was going to kill this freak. I eventually just manned up and started going ham on Instagram on this dude, but it backfired because he just has so much more health than me and just ate me for breakfast pretty much. So I restarted and tried again. I went to kill the deer, but I really didn't want to chase him across the whole map again, so I just took the L and restarted. This time I activated ultra stealth mode, which just means crouching, and murdered him like it was nothing. I grabbed the clawn, and now time for round 2. We literally killed each other at the exact same time. I don't even know how that's possible. I tried 5 more times, and on the 5th try I finally killed the dude. It dropped its head and I picked it up and placed it on the statue. After that I found out I had pleased the god and he gave me a bow. The next mission was to find an old tree and get a red apple. On my way to the tree I came across a hog that would not stop chasing me, so unfortunately I had to kill him. I shot the apple out of the tree and took it to a different statue, which spawned an even scarier looking monster with balls for hands. I'm not even kidding. This dude has actual testicles for hands. Luckily, since I had the bow, he was actually really easy to kill. I grabbed his head, put it on the statue, and pleased the god again. So much so that he gave me a hammer. I went into this cave that I found and killed a little minion dude, and then spawned in a new monster. I globbed that dude to death and tried to put his claw on the statue, but it just didn't work, which was really annoying because it meant I had to completely restart. I did all that again, and this time it didn't glitch luckily, so I slapped that on there, and then I got a sword from the chest, and the game just automatically restarted. So I think that that's the end of the game. They didn't really give me a clear end screen or anything, so hopefully that means I beat it. But overall, this game was actually pretty good, despite a few glitches. I just wish it was a little longer. Police Jailbreak Prison Escape. This game has the best main menu I've ever witnessed in my entire life. There are 10 levels I have to beat in order to escape, starting with level 1. 2 police officers with floating rifles escorted me to my prison cell, but I just roundhouse kicked them into next week, then sat back and laughed at what I had just done. Instead of escaping. Now it's time to confess my crimes to the officer. Okay, what's your crime, man? I am accused of theft and robbery. Let you pay for your misdeeds. Go get up like prisoner, as your identity is not more than a blasphemous convict. I said, change your clothes. Alright, time to go for changing my dress. I love that you just full speed sprint everywhere you go. It's really great. Level complete. Now it's time to take a bath. I try to conserve water and shower with the other 2 guys showering, who look just like me for some reason, except I'm just tiny compared to them. They didn't really like that I was showering with them, so I just went to the 3rd shower. And then after I took my shower, I got changed in a vending machine, I think, which is kind of weird. Then I was supposed to kill this officer for some reason. The game just doesn't explain why. The funny thing though is that this police officer just started attacking me first. I never did anything. He just started kicking me. So I started running for my life because I wanted to try to be a good prisoner, but the game wouldn't progress until I killed him, so I just punched him to death. Now because I was defending myself from this officer, I got punished and had to clean the toilet. Toilet clean. Time to eat. I was about to enjoy my meal, but then these guys just started yelling at me. Alright, I guess I have to fight these guys. Oh, not just fight. Kill them. I have to kill them. Okay, I'm getting bullied by these dudes, and even the cop joins in to fight me. This prison is so corrupt. I killed the officer while the other one just watched, and now it's time to meet the boss of the prison. I don't know why, but for some reason my character is just extremely eager to do whatever he says. Like I'm pretty much his slave. I painted the wall like the prison boss asked, and the officers were mad. I mean, just look at them. Then the boss told me to kill this random prisoner. Okay, now for the final mission. Go and kill officer. I killed the officer and it was time to escape. And this is where things are about to get crazy because all these officers are going to be heading toward me and I'm going to make a run for it fast. Literally none of the officers tried to stop me, so I just walked right out of the prison and escaped. Elite Spy Agent Mission Game. The first thing you do in this game is choose between 2 outfits. A red one or a blue one that you have to watch an ad for. I went with the red one. Once you start the game, it plays one of the weirdest cutscenes I've ever seen in a game. Like, what is going on? After that happens, your first mission is to take out all the enemies in the agency. I headed straight for the first enemy and he just charged me out of nowhere and roundhouse kicked me like 50 times in a row. I started fighting back and somehow actually killed him. The next enemy had a gun, so it was going to be a little more difficult, but I realized that I could get a gun too, but only if I watched an ad, and I really didn't want to do that. So I just made the whole game a no gun challenge. I don't actually think that guns are as effective as punching anyway, because this guy put 2 bullets in my chest that I just wasn't fazed by. Then I proceeded to punch him to death almost instantly. On to the next level. This time there was 3 enemies. I took them out pretty easily, and the rest of the game is pretty much just the same thing, which I've noticed is definitely a theme with these games. On the last level, I finally gave in and watched an ad, because I really wanted to use a gun, and it definitely made it more fun, but it was still kind of boring. Luckily though, in a different game mode I tried, there was a special ability you can use. The ability it gives you is insane. I don't even know what that is, but it's crazy. Put your spooky caps on because the next game is Creepy Killer Hunter Escape. Chapter 1, Finding friend. You start off in what seems to be a windowless house with a letter on the ground. Hello, my dear friend. My old friend ran away, so I'm in search of a new one. Your resemblance is just like my old friend, so I've come to take you home. He's just, yeah. So it really just seems like this guy just wants a new friend, which is actually really sad. I mean, he said he just wants to play.
I just want to play.
But he's pretty ugly, so I gotta get out of here. I tried going out the front door, but it said I need to check the fuse box because the lock was broken. The fuse box is apparently busted, so I had to find a spare fuse. I found it, but then my friend found me, and he's definitely not my friend. I don't think friends do that. I tried again and put the fuse in and then fixed the door and escaped.
Yay.
So it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Chapter 2 is a lot less scary because instead of the guy chasing you around the house, you just have to escape in less than 5 minutes. Luckily, there's a window I can break out of. I found a crowbar on the top of these stairs and I went back down and then got stuck and had to restart from chapter 1. So yeah, that was pretty annoying, and what made it worse is that it happened twice. On the third time, luckily I went around the glitch spot and removed the cage from the window. Then I broke the window with this hammer and picked up this box to escape. So yeah, that was the game. I beat it insanely fast, apart from having to restart twice. Yeah, this one was kind of trash if I'm being honest. It reminded me of a super watered down version of that Granny game that was super popular like a while ago, but just not nearly as good. The next game, Secret Mission 3D Spy Games. This game has 2 modes, City Mode and Day Mode, and they each have 1 level unlocked. The rest are behind a paywall. I wanted to see how much it was, but it wouldn't even let me buy it if I wanted to. Anyway, I figured I might as well just beat the first level on each of these modes. So first up is City Mode. On City Mode, the first mission is to plant a bomb near this tank and run away. Well, that was pretty easy. Next up, Day Mode. Enter in building and shoot 2 enemies. I killed the first guy and the other guy just didn't seem to care. And once they die, they just immediately go into a T-pose, which is really funny. And that's the entire playable part of the game. This one was definitely the worst so far. The next game is Idle Sneak Robbery Thief Simulator. The game immediately starts off showing the most expensive diamond in the world, which is what you're supposed to steal. And then it shows all the security systems they have in place to prevent people from stealing it. And it really just seems like this is going to be impossible, because it has the latest alarm system, ultra detection beam rays, passcode and fingerprint protected gates, fully secured with elite forces and police, highly secured place with elite forces, surroundings of palace is also secured with elite forces and police, nearest roads and places have been closed by police for security, only one way to enter the area after proper verification. Unknown person, dude, how long is this? Unknown person cannot enter the area without proper identity. House of the security head who only have access. So the first objective, get the access card of security head to pass through the security doors and checkpoints. So I went to his house and just wiggled a crowbar on the doorknob and it opened, just like that. Might I remind you, this is the head of security for the most secure bank probably in the world. And I just got inside his house within like 3 seconds. So I walked right in and grabbed the key card to the bank holding the world's most valuable diamond just sitting on his desk. Then I left, casually stole a car, and level complete. The next level I had to kill a police officer for his uniform. Probably could have just like knocked him out or something, but no, I have to get blood on my hands and kill him. When I was looking around for him, I drove through the area that's supposed to be heavily guarded and only verified people are allowed to enter, but I just drove through like it was no big deal. I mean, they really don't seem to take their job very seriously. I finally found a police officer and did what had to be done. I stole his car and made it to the bank, and just walked right in. I guess I don't need a badge or anything to verify who I am. The suit seems to be good enough proof that I'm definitely not a thief. I put in the code I got from the head of security and just walked right up and grabbed the diamond without anybody questioning me. I left the building and drove back to my house with the most expensive diamond in the world. This is a lot easier than I thought it would be. And that is some games with no reviews that now have reviews. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to be fancy, then be sure and subscribe because I'm building a society of the highest class, most fanciest people on planet Earth. Okay, goodbye.